Welcome back, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, to the super, not funny show reviews. And today I'm reviewing Bel-Air Season 2, Episode 4. It's entitled Don't Kill My Vibe, coming to you from Peacock. So, what did I think about it, and should you be watching? Before we get into the review, get down there, hit like on this video. Well, the setup is all done. It's time to actually get into this story moving forward. At the end of the last episode, there was a big protest. Will got up onto the top of the school and dropped down that Black Teachers Matter banner. So, of course, there's got to be some fallout and consequences. And the fallout and consequences are that Will takes the fall and gets suspended for a week from school. Meanwhile, Carlton is suffering a reputation blow because he had a panic attack, but they think that he choked / intentionally sold everyone out. And this is due to Yasmin, the girl he likes, overhearing that Carlton's going to be nominated for that school award for the guy, I guess, best student, whatever the hell it's called, and not giving him a chance to actually explain himself. We also have Will really wanting to turn to that AAU team that Doc coaches, that Doc runs. And Uncle Phil is still against it, especially when they go meet up and he reads the contracts and everything like that. Something about him just doesn't sit right. But Aunt Viv is there, and she's, maybe making some moves in the background. We also have Jazz and Hilary, having their relationship, and now they're moving to another level because she gets to meet his parents, who are, by all indication, are devout Muslims, and she's not quite up on it, but she decides that she's got to be like the perfect, girl or whatever, to hilarious results. You also got Ashley. She's sort of beating herself up over Miss Hughes getting fired and Will getting suspended, and is thinking about hanging up her protest days. And again, there's a lot of stuff going on in this episode. And we also have Jeffrey looking into Uncle Phil's partner at the firm and what's really going on with him. And of course, he's still kind of, sort of shady to Uncle Phil. And finally, we have Will getting to know Jackie a little more, while he also still hating on the dude that's trying to chill with Lisa. So I think I covered all the bases. There's a lot, so much going on in this episode. So let's try to get to it all real quick. Will's kind of like the Robin Hood of Bel-Air Academy. He gets suspended, gets kicked off his basketball team because of his actions, but also has a lot of clout with the student body for what he did. And so, he's the cool Will everyone expects. And meanwhile, Carlton is sort of in the shadow as sort of the guy that dropped the ball. I liked here that Carlton was upset with Will for kind of dropping the ball on, looking after him as his parents asked him to, but also not falling back into that jealousy stuff. He's more bothered. He's less bothered by the fact that Will got a lot of popularity because of it, and more so that he himself is sort of being looked down upon because of what happened, because he failed to make the speech. And of course, that whole trope of someone overhearing a conversation but not the full context and not letting someone explain, they kind of did that in this episode with Yasmin. But I kind of bought it because, she was already bothered by him anyway, and Carlton doesn't really want to talk about his anxiety problem, which comes up later on. Will, he's all over the place in this episode, but in this part, he continues to be the good cousin. He and Carlton are homies. Let's call it what it is. They're great friends. They've kind of bonded over everything that went down in the previous season, and Will's not going to let Carlton's, the fact that Carlton kind of dressed him down doesn't bother him. He's going to still kind of keep him, try to bring him along socially. And so they end up going bowling, and I love seeing like the whole little bowling montage and everything like that. Fun stuff. I think that both Carlton and Will in this episode, they kind of had a little reminiscent of the Carlton and Will from the comedy, as fun stuff. But Will kind of gets called away because he wants to go hang out with Jackie. And that leaves Carlton kind of on his own, but not really, because Lisa is still there and they're still quite good friends. But it leads to a confrontation with Drew, and Carlton puts in some work. First of all, he got pushed up on by this bigger dude, but Carlton went in on old boy. And then when he was pulled off, really told everyone what's really going on, like that he has anxiety, he takes medication and all that other stuff. And Lisa was standing up for him, and I really liked Lisa a lot in this episode. She's really good. She's a good friend, and I'm glad that they're giving her more of a role in this episode. They're not pushing her to the side because she and Will are dating right now. Yasmin, that whole little thing is probably over, but we'll see. I just want Carlton to be good. I don't want him to be, relapsing or anything, but we shall see. There's also the whole thing with Uncle Phil and his whole, firm thing, and essentially finding out that the firm is going under, and the only way they can really stay afloat is with a merger or really an acquisition with another law firm. Unless, and I'm hoping this is the case, Uncle Phil can pull a rabbit out of his hat and bring a big clients to the firm. But that's what, Jeffrey's been kind of doing, and he's been keeping it completely professional. The friendship aspect hasn't come back yet, and Uncle Phil's not really quite sure what to do about that. There's also the whole thing with Doc. It actually makes Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv have a real argument that we hadn't seen before, because they're not on the same page about that. Aunt Viv sees that Will really wants this, and Uncle Phil has a lot of really well-placed reservations about this team that cost $10,000 to basically get onto the team, and then $500 a month to maintain it. But Will sort of really wants this, and he also kind of convinces Uncle Phil with a lot of help from Jackie, which is something that seems cool, but he's connecting with her. They're having a little moment and everything. Probably gonna date, but also saying that Doc set her up to sort of entice Will in. That it really gives me pause about her character, because as much as I like her, I like the vibe that's going on between her and Will. Is she really being shady? She seems like she was reluctant to do whatever she was doing. I don't know. I'm really torn on how to feel about her as a character. But I do like the vibe between her and Will. The whole thing with, Doc and Uncle Phil, that's clearly going to come to a head later on in the season. How can it not? But Aunt Viv really kind of standing in there, and she supports Uncle Phil, but she also kind of wants to do what's best for Will, and for Will, saying that she doesn't want them to be puppet masters telling him what to do. I thought that was very insightful, and also showed that we're getting glimpses of the Aunt Viv we know from the original story. Like, she's not just a yes man for Uncle Phil. She actually will, correct him and won't just co-sign everything. I like that a lot. Also, the whole thing with Hilary and Jazz, so cringe, but also it was very sweet. Jazz being reluctant to have her meet his parents the way that, she was, sort of reluctant about that with her parents. But also, when she kind of comes in, so strong, trying to be this perfect Muslim girl. And he said she sounds like a Muslim Wikipedia, which I thought was exactly what I thought when I was watching the scene. Very cringy, but I don't care. I love that Hilary cares so much that she's trying to, she's really trying to get the parents to like her. And that feels like it's a real thing between her and Jazz. She said they're so different, but all that matters is that they're down for each other. I love that so much. Jazz is my favorite character on the show. I love that he and Hilary are having not just a good relationship, a great relationship where they're really, learning a lot about each other, but, it could grow into something really, really good. And I can't wait to see how they develop that some more. I will say my only real criticism of this episode is a criticism I've had of the show in general, which is that Ashley is very sidelined in this show. And I understand she's only a middle school student. How much drama could she have? But I think by this point in the Fresh Prince, the original series, she had several, storylines going on. In this, I understand they're episodic or whatever, but still, I think Ashley needs a lot more to do in this show. She needs to be more of a real character in this show, not just, sort of a, kind of a sideline or whatever. And I do like that they took a moment to show Will going and, reaching out to her, trying to make sure she's good, and also encouraging her not to give up on protesting and everything like that. Because this, again, harkens back to the original series where Will, of all people, he comes into the show and he actually really kind of connects with Ashley more so than the other people in the house. And I want to see more of that dynamic, as Will is sort of like an older person who's cool, that can kind of encourage and guide and all that stuff for Ashley, which is funny because his head's all over the place right now too. But just having that moment with her to giving her encouragement, I thought that was really great, and I want to see more of it. So overall, another great episode of this show. I am just digging this show so much. It's got a lot going on in it. There's a lot of plot threads running around, but kudos to the people making it. Everyone looks great. Everyone sounds great. There's a lot of good stuff happening, and I'm really enjoying the entire story. Can't wait for more. So anyway, those are my thoughts on this episode. What did you guys think about it? What did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comment section, leave your thoughts there, and of course, you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And do me a favor, get down there, hit the like on this video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff. Helps more people to see these videos, helps to grow the channel, and I appreciate it. All right, all you Fabricans and Fleshbags, thanks for joining me. Come back next week. We're going to be reviewing the 5th episode of Bel-Air. Until then, I've been Mo de Poupée, resident fabricant and commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture. We'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.